Chapter 29 of the Red Fairy Book. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Recording by Alana Jordan. The Red Fairy Book by Andrew Lang. Chapter 29. Farmer Weatherbeard. There was once upon a time a man and a woman who had an only son, and he was called Jack. The woman thought that it was his duty to go out to service, and told her husband that he was to take him somewhere. "You must get him such a good place that he will become master of all masters," she said, and then she put some food and a roll of tobacco into a bag for them. Well, they went to a great many masters, but all said that they could make the lad as good as they were themselves, but better than that they could not make him. When the man came home to the old woman with this answer, she said, "I shall be equally well pleased whatever you do with him, but this I do say, that you are to have him made a master over all masters." Then she once more put some food and a roll of tobacco into the bag, and the man and his son had to set out again. When they had walked some distance, they got upon the ice, and there they met a man in a carriage who was driving a black horse. "Where you going?" he said. "I have to go and get my son apprenticed to someone who will be able to teach him a trade, for my old woman comes of such well-to-do folk that she insists on his being taught to be master of all masters," said the man. "We are not ill met then," said the man who was driving, "for I am the kind of man who can do that, and I am just looking out for such an apprentice. Get it behind with you," he said to the boy, and off the horse went with them straight up into the air. "No, no, wait a little," screamed the father of the boy. "I ought to know what your name is and where you live." "Oh, I am at home both in the north and the south and the east and the west. I am called Farmer Weatherbeard," said the master. "You may come here again in a year's time, and then I will tell you if the lad suits me." And then they set off again and were gone. When the man got home, the old woman inquired what had become of the son. "Ah, heaven only knows what has become of him," said the man. "They went up aloft." And then he told her what had happened. But when the woman heard that, and found that the man did not at all know either when their son would be out of his apprenticeship or where he had gone, she packed him off again to find out, and gave him a bag of food and a roll of tobacco to take away with him. When he had walked for some time he came to a great wood, and it stretched before him all day long as he went on. And when night began to fall he saw a great light, and went towards it. After a long, long time he came to a small hut at the foot of a rock, outside which an old woman was standing drawing water up from a well with her nose, it was so long. "Good evening, mother," said the man. "Good evening to you too," said the old woman. "No one has called me mother this 100 years." "Can I lodge here tonight?" said the man. "No," said the woman. But the man took out his roll of tobacco, lighted a little of it, and then gave her a whiff. Then she was so delighted that she began to dance, and thus the man got leave to stay the night there. It was not long before he asked about Farmer Weatherbeard. She said that she knew nothing about him, but that she ruled over all the four-footed beasts, and some of them might know him. So she gathered them all together by blowing a whistle which she had, and questioned them, but there was not one of them which knew anything about Farmer Weatherbeard. "Well," said the old woman, "there are 3 of us sisters. It may be that one of the other 2 knows where he is to be found. You shall have the loan of my horse and carriage, and then you will get there by night. But her house is 300 miles off. Go the nearest way you will." The man set out and got there at night. When he arrived, this old woman also was standing drawing water out of the well with her nose. "Good evening, mother," said the man. "Good evening to you," said the old woman. "No one has called me mother this 100 years." "Can I lodge here tonight?" said the man. "No," said the old woman. Then he took out the roll of tobacco, took a whiff, and gave the old woman some snuff on the back of her hand. Then she was so delighted that she began to dance, and the man got leave to stay all night. It was not long before he begun to ask about Farmer Weatherbeard. She knew nothing about him, But she ruled over all the fishes, she said, and perhaps some of them might know something. So she gathered them all together, and blowing a whistle which she had, and questioned them. But there was not one of them which knew anything about Farmer Weatherbeard. "Well," said the old woman, "I have another sister, perhaps she may know something about him. She lives 600 miles off, but you shall have my horse and carriage, and then you will get there by nightfall." So the man set off, and he got there by nightfall. The old woman was standing raking the fire, and she was doing it with her nose, so long it was. "Good evening, mother," said the man. "Good evening to you," said the woman. "No one has called me mother this 100 years." "Can I lodge here tonight?" said the man. "No," said the old woman. But the man pulled out his roll of tobacco again, and filled his pipe with some of it, and gave the old woman enough snuff to cover the back of her hand. Then she was so delighted that she began to dance, and the man got leave to stay in her house. It was not long before he asked about Farmer Weatherbeard. She knew nothing at all about him, she said, but she governed all the birds, and she gathered them together with her whistle. When she questioned them all, the eagle was not there, but it came soon afterwards, and when asked it said that it had just come from Farmer Weatherbeard's. Then the old woman said that it was to guide the man to him. But the eagle would have something to eat first, and then it wanted to wait until the next day, for it was so tired with the long journey that it was scarcely able to rise from the earth. When the eagle had had plenty of food and rest, the old woman plucked a feather out of its tail and set the man in the feather's place, and then the bird flew away with him. But they did not get to Farmer Weatherbeard's before midnight. When they got there, the eagle said, "There are a great many dead bodies lying outside the door, but you must not concern yourself about them. The people who are inside the house are all so sound asleep that it will not be easy to awake them. But you must go straight to the table drawer and take out 3 bits of bread, and if you hear anyone snoring, pluck 3 feathers from his head. He will not waken for that." The man did this. When he got the bits of bread he first plucked out 1 feather. "Oof!" screamed Farmer Weatherbeard. So the man plucked out another, and then Farmer Weatherbeard shrieked "Oof!" again. But when the man had plucked the 3rd, Farmer Weatherbeard screamed so loudly that the man thought that the brick and mortar would be rent in twain. But for all that he went on sleeping. And now the eagle told the man what he was to do next, and he did it. He went to the stable door, and there he stumbled upon a hard stone which he picked up, and beneath it lay 3 splinters of wood, which he also picked up. He knocked at the stable door, and it opened at once. He threw down the 3 little bits of bread, and a hare came out and ate them. He caught the hare. Then the eagle told him to pluck 3 feathers out of its tail, and put in the hare, the stone, the splinters of wood, and himself instead of them, and then he would be able to carry them all home. When the eagle had flown a long way, it alighted upon a stone. "Do you see anything?" it asked. "Yes, I see a flock of crows coming flying after us," said the man. "Then we shall do well to fly on a little farther," said the eagle, and off it set. In a short time it asked again, "Do you see anything now?" "Yes, now the crows are close behind us," said the man. "Then throw down the 3 feathers which you plucked out of his head," said the eagle. So the man did this, and no sooner than he had flung them down than the feathers became a flock of ravens, which chased the crows home again. Then the eagle flew on much farther with the man, but at length it alighted on a stone for a while. "Do you see anything?" it said. "I am not quite certain," said the man, "but I think I see something coming in the far distance." "Then we shall do well to fly on a little farther," said the eagle, and away it went. "Do you see anything now?" it said, after some time had gone by. "Yes, they are close behind us," said the man. "Then throw down the splinters of wood which you took from beneath the grey stone by the stable door," said the eagle. The man did this, and no sooner had he flung them down than they grew into a great thick wood, and Farmer Weatherbeard had to go home for an axe to cut his way through it. So the eagle flew on a long, long way, but then it grew tired and sat down on a fir tree. "Do you see anything?" it asked. "Yes, I am not quite certain," said the man, "but I think I can catch a glimpse of something far, far away." "Then we shall do well to fly on a little farther."